Hi guys, Lily here, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're going to be focusing on making Apple and Android cell phones into girls. And it's kind of like a versus, kind of like Apple versus Android, just with art. So I'm going to be using some Arteza products to do this. I've got my Inconic pens. I have my set of alcohol markers like over here. Can't really see them, but you know. But the other cool thing is I'm going to be checking out Arteza's line of colored pencils. Arteza sent this to me to try out, and I'm super excited to go ahead and do just that. I'm hoping to basically use my Arteza Everblend alcohol markers to just kind of put down base colors. And then I'm hoping to shade in and color the rest of the piece with these colored pencils, and then maybe line it with my Inconic fine liners or pens, really. So I'm excited. Let's get started by getting all this stuff off my desk really quick so we can go ahead and start the sketching process. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and use my render sketchbook to go ahead and do some character designs. And so I'm starting here with Apple, and I've always felt that Apple products seemed more, I don't know, organized. Like they have just a very clean-cut aesthetic to them. So I'm gonna go with a more professional, I don't know, I don't think that's the right word, but sort of just a clean, professional sort of style of character. So something like dressy but casual, kind of like this person definitely puts a lot of time into thinking about what she's gonna wear and just overall has a like stylish, chic sort of look, maybe a bob cut. And I definitely found a lot of inspiration on Pinterest for this sort of a look. Something to this sort of effect. I'm not liking her face though. I don't know. But I like her outfit. I definitely found something similar to this on Pinterest and felt it would be a really good match for the kind of look I was trying to achieve. Because this sort of feels like the type of person Apple would be if she were, if it were a girl. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and test out some other ideas for like hair and face. I'm not feeling that one. So usually my style of hair is more whimsical and flowing and crazy, but I'm gonna go with something a little more straight, like severely straight. Yeah, this is definitely the kind of face that I was hoping for, and the hairstyle. I really think this short, angled, kind of dead or pin straight hairstyle works out too. And so I feel like Android would be more on the grunge, casual side, and that's definitely something I more want to capture in her sort of pose. Just like a super, I don't really care kind of pose. And she certainly looks like she doesn't care about her posture. I had to resize my head. I have this terrible habit of just drawing or sketching these huge heads and then later being like, yeah, that's a small body for that huge head she's got going on. I don't know what kind of hair I want to do. I definitely want like something like curly and coily. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to see about making her hair into something that I actually would like. So... and just something really curly is what I'm trying to go for. I just feel like sometimes the curly look plays into the whole messy hair, don't care kind of feeling. So yeah, something like that. All right, so I'm gonna throw these designs into my computer and line them digitally. That way I'll have them also available for you guys to print out in color on my website. If you're interested, let's go. And so I went ahead and printed out the digital line art that I made from the sketches that I did. I already selected my Arteza Everblend art marker colors that I'll be using as a base, and I went ahead and opened up my Arteza Expert colored pencils with all these gorgeous colors. There's one set, two sets, if I can get it out, sorry. And the third set. So, what's wrong with this one? I don't know what happened to that one. Anyways, So I'm really excited to use these today to color my character. I'll also be using my Arteza fine liners for small areas. So let's go ahead and get started. And the paper that I'm using is different from what I normally use. I usually use the Express It blending cards, but while the Express It blending cards are great for markers, they don't do as well with colored pencils. So I figured I'd go with a more multimedia type of paper, specifically the Master's Touch multimedia paper. I got it at Hobby Lobby for pretty cheap, and I don't particularly recommend using multimedia paper when you're coloring with alcohol markers. I don't think that's the best choice. However, I do feel if you're using a mix of mediums, or in this case as what I'm doing with the colored pencils and the Inconic fine liners, where your alcohol markers take up pretty much 10% of the painting or drawing, then I don't think it's a big deal. So I decided to add some pink in her hair because while I feel she's professional and polished, I don't know, I really wanted to capture a more fun side to her, because when it came to creating this character, I often thought about the individuals who often use these kinds of products. And so I definitely feel like the type of person who uses Apple products ranges a lot, is very diverse, I guess you could say. And I didn't just want to capture a professional business-ish kind of person. I also wanted to capture, the fun types of creatives that also often use Apple products. So I feel like I might have captured that in her hair. Maybe, not too sure. I'm gonna add a little bit of purple too. So far I'm really liking how this is coming out with the color pencils, mostly because the shading feels super simple and stress-free. And I say that not because blending with markers is super hard, though I will say blending with brush markers is easier than chisel tip markers. But when you're adding the shading and doing the blending with colored pencils, it's definitely so much easier than doing it with markers in general. I will say going with the colored pencil route kind of gives a sketchy sort of look to the overall piece. And personally, it's definitely a look that I enjoy. And as far as comparing these two brands, I definitely can't do so when it comes to specs. I'm not really a spec kind of person. I'm more of a visual aesthetic kind of person. And I do enjoy the fact that Apple products are very much geared towards visual aesthetic. Although I'm sure that's just the artist in me talking, because I really do gravitate towards the more prettier things in life. And I feel like Apple is definitely one of those products that exemplifies pretty things. And all right, Apple's side is done. I think she looks super cute. And let's move on to our grungy emo girl. I don't know. But basically the Android side. And so I wanted to go with the more alternative style for Android, mostly because I believe iPhone was the first ever smartphone. So it was like the super popular brand that became the first ever sort of smartphone, sort of paving the way for this, I guess you could say, new generation of cell phones. And so when other brands started coming onto the market with their own sort of smartphone invention, I feel it was definitely seen as, oh, it's a knockoff of the iPhone. But then when the Android operating systems were introduced, I definitely remember those being all the rage. Like, an operating system had finally come out that was comparable to the iPhone, like the iOS. So that was kind of a big deal. And then it's just, Samsung versus iPhone issue, like which is better. So even though Android was its own sort of operating system, I guess, Samsung became one of the more widely known smartphones that used it. Clearly, I'm not 100% brushed up on the histories of smartphones, but those are basically some tidbits I sort of remember. And so I basically just feel that I got stuck on the word alternative, and I feel that's where the design of this character for Android pretty much came from. I'm really liking this purple shirt that I just made for her. And so I'm trying to keep a sort of green theme for this character because the logo of Android is this green, is it an alien or a robot? I don't know. I think it's an alien. Although it's kind of boxy, I think. Anyways, I don't see the Android logo too often now. I don't know if they even use that logo anymore. They may, I'm not sure. But anyways, that little green thing, dude, whatever, is green, like I said. So I figured I'd draw this jacket thing in tones of greenish. The base color is like a turquoise, and then I've got this design going in that's just green line designs everywhere. And that's that. So we have Android on the left, Apple on the right, and I had a ton of fun using Arteza's colored pencils that they sent me. I think that they did super well with the Arteza Everblend art markers. So if you're interested in combining a new medium with alcohol markers, colored pencils is definitely a fun way to go about that. So let me know in the comments below which one you like better. I personally feel I can relate more towards Android, but I definitely like Apple's design a lot as well. And so if you enjoyed today's video, then maybe comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks guys, bye!